Hi everyone, my name is Lenny. I just want to say thank you firstly to everyone that watched my last video, my first video, um, and just to say again a massive thanks to all the people who comment and gave us a shout out and liked it and subscribed and everything. It's just been amazing, and I'm really blown away by it. I did it to conquer a fear, and here I am doing another one, which I'm shocked at by it because I didn't expect it. But um, so a lot of you asked about how I lost the weight that I've lost so far, and it's kind of a complicated story that starts a long time ago. But I'll try and give you a little bit of backstory, which sort of stems from my childhood. When my grandparent died as a child, and especially my granddad, I think I was 12 at the time when he died. I started to take food, and at the time I didn't associate it at all. It wasn't until years later a psychologist pointed this out to us. But I would take food, go into the bathroom and then nibble on it like a little mouse, like it was, but whilst I was doing that for those few, I don't know, minute, 2 minutes or whatever it was, it just made us feel calmer. And I think just concentrating on that and doing that made us calm down. And it was, and the psychologist said to us that it was kind of controlling something, because everything around you was out of control because of the death of my grandparents. So in thinking about it now, it does really make sense. But as a 10, 11, 12-year-old, obviously I had no clue that I was doing that. And then over the years, it got progressively worse, so that anything that bothered us, I would then use food as a comfort. And in the time that I was eating it, I did feel comfort. I felt calmer. It was a feeling. It was like a calmness. It was this. Everything was silent, so the self-hatred would go. But the second, obviously, I stopped eating, like the self-hatred, the feeling like a failure, the shame, all of it, the feeling useless, the feeling ugly, all the things, I couldn't, no one could speak to us worse than I spoke to me. No one. And the thing was, is like, I thought how I felt, the way I looked and everything was me. I thought, I didn't think that things could be better. I never believed I could feel or think the way I do now. It's just unreal. I didn't realise that I had body dysmorphia at the time, depression, anxiety, panic attacks. I mean, I knew I had some things, but the panic attacks and that, because like littlest things would set us off, and it got to the point that I slowly withdrew from the world, didn't leave the house, stopped even answering the door, and lived like that for quite a few years, and progressively got bigger and bigger, because the only thing that comforted us was food. And even that was only temporarily, till I then felt sort of horrific afterwards. But then in order to make us feel better, I went back to the food and had to do it again. And of course, it just led on a spiral of destruction, really. And the depression, I always just felt like I was in the bottom of a black hole with no ladder, and I couldn't get out. And everything just felt like I had a permanent dark cloud over my head, and there was just no positivity or anything. Which is to say that I'm extremely positive now is just so mad. So this went on and on and on. I tried various diets. I'd do something Slim Fast, for instance, tried that a few times, lose a few pounds, give up, then feel like a failure and go in a spiral even further down of eating, and 3 months later I've gained another couple more stone. And then I'd try Weight Watchers. I did lose 3 stone with Weight Watchers, but again, had some issues in the town where some people were verbally abusive to us, and I just started to build myself up to going back into the world, and it sent me spiraling back down, and wish now that I could go back and just sort of tell those people to shut up, you know what I mean? But because of the way I felt about myself, I think I just felt like, well, they were just confirming the truth in a sense, even though it wasn't. Yeah, I was big, but I didn't, it didn't make me a bad person or anything, which, to be honest, I used to kind of think in a way. And so like I said, yeah, and then it was always that kind of thing. It'd be a birthday coming up, or New Year, and I'd think, right, I'm gonna change my life tomorrow. I'm gonna start. I'd get really upset and everything, and the next day I'd be like, right, clear out the whole house of like anything that I would deem as bad food, which in a way there isn't such a thing as bad food. In a way, it's just the portion sizes of it, and if that's all you lived on, if you know what I mean, and you didn't eat anything healthier or nutritional, and so I would just clear the whole house out, and I leave myself with salad and a blinking gulp of fresh air or something, and think that I would do it, and then after a day or two I'd probably give up, because it's just the way I would try it would be not sustainable. That would lead us down a path. Someone might have just offered us a biscuit or chocolate, or I could have just bought something, had it, and then the second I'd eat it, go on a bigger spiral down of how much of a failure I was, because I'd given up already. And then 3 months down the line, again being bigger than I was beforehand, and this went on probably every two or 3 or 4 times a year, and I would try again, and again I'd feel like a failure, but I didn't believe in myself anyway, and it just spiraled, and so this went on and on and on. Stopped leaving the house, could barely walk, and then October 2016. From then on, I think I got progressively more poorly. I'd be like, I hardly was getting up. I was asleep a lot of the time. One side of my face was swollen. I do have lymphedema, and sometimes it does swell my face as well as one side of my arm and my legs. It was painful, but I didn't bother with GPs and things. I somehow got through Christmas with the kids, and then my legs started to fill with fluid in the January. And because I've got lymphedema, they do anyway, so I was kind of first I just thought it was kind of that. But it wasn't going down or anything, and I thought to myself, it was painful as well. Lymphedema sometimes is painful, you get deep aches and things, but this was constant, and if I was sitting in any one position, which I was most of the time, I couldn't even move my leg across the bed. I would be screaming. It was so bad, and it gradually came up and up and up till it hit my hips, and I already had an ulcerated, one of the lymphedema lumps on the side of my leg was properly ulcerated, and it was dripping fluid, and it was sore, and it wasn't in a a good state, let's say. And this fluid was just coming up and up. And my district nurse, who is amazing, she's a district nurse and Sister Sue, she'd always been trying to encourage us to get help and seek help, and she'd always tried, and she'd spend hours doing it. Like, she'd came out to dress my leg on the Friday, I think that was the 9th. The fluid was by this time probably up to halfway up my thighs, and it was rock hard and I was in a lot of pain. She tried to get us to go into the hospital and told us I needed more help, blah blah blah, and I didn't want to listen at the time. My leg got dressed and everything, and on the Sunday I rang her out because I got scared, because I was used to the fluid in my thighs and lower parts of my legs, but it came up to my hips, and I've never had it that far up, and it was just rock solid. My legs were like rock solid. I can't even, it was like being crushed. It was madness. So she came out to see us, spent a couple hours here again, finally persuaded us to actually go in hospital. And I think I owe her a lot, because if it wasn't for her, I wouldn't be here, and that is true. Because if she hadn't spent the time and sort of talked me into it, I think I would have died, and it's hard to say, but it's the truth. She's a wonderful person, a really wonderful person. So yeah, she persuaded us to go in. It did take 3 days to arrange, actually, because it wasn't easy to do. Had to have the specialised ambulance crew and blah blah. And I will explain that at another day, because it's also quite a big story. But so she did that, and I went in on the 11th of January 2016. I spent 6 months in there. Whilst I was in there, 2 weeks after I went in there, I ended up with a blood infection and what else did I get? Pneumonia. I was really poorly at one point. It affected my mental health. I didn't have the food. My mental health hit the floor. I thought I'd had a stroke at one point. It was the scariest part, is a very scary time, and very scary, but in another way also the proudest, because those 6 months I walked again, which I hadn't done for a while. Unfortunately my knees haven't played ball throughout, but it's again another story. I couldn't sit up, I couldn't sit round, I couldn't lift my leg, I couldn't lift my head up, I couldn't roll over, and now I can do all those things. It's just things that are just relatively normal, I suppose, but I couldn't do any of them. And like I said, I lost quite a bit of the weight in there. I think it was around 12 stone when I was in the hospital for the 6 months. And whilst I was also in there, I was learning about nutrition, I was seeing a dietitian, I was seeing the mental health team, and building up everything. And I came out in the August, I came out in the July, and got weighed in the following August, went back to get weighed, lost another 3 kilos, and I was so worried when I first came out of hospital that I wouldn't be able to do it on my own, you know what I mean? But I just felt that I'd educated myself loads more, and I have done even further since, and I could never go back to where I was. Never, like the way I feel now mentally. There's just no way I could go back there. It's frightening when you think about it. It's really frightening, and even now I'm still way over what I should be. But I'm losing it really, and it's slowed down a lot being at home. A calorie count. I tend to have, I have breakfast and a tea, and then I have a couple of snacks as well, and I don't ban anything because I've always been a person that if you for me, if I ban something, I just want it more. So I allow all foods. I just control the portion size of it. I stay within my calories, apart from the odd days where, like, maybe for a birthday or Christmas, and I have the odd takeaway now and then, maybe once every 4-6 weeks, something like that. And there's no guilt, which I used to do. There's no hatred, and there's no, all of it's gone. And I mean, I haven't been perfect. I've struggled to get weighed because I'm not able to walk, so it's kind of like been an issue, being able to get weighed, because apparently there isn't really a service available for that. But after fighting for it for ages, so in total I had lost 18 stone 7, and then I went 13 months without being weighed, and in that time I'd gained a stone, which, if I think back to the old me, I would have gained about 5 or 6 stone in the same time frame. And I knew that I'd sort of slacked a bit, and I knew that I'd went through a blip for 2 or 3 weeks where I just kind of totally didn't control what I was doing, which is perfectly normal. We're human, there's no perfection in this. It's just not possible. And I like I said, when I went through the blip, I kind of expected all the self-hatred to come back, all the feeling like a failure, and it didn't come. It didn't happen. And I still find that really strange, because after coming up 30 years or over 30 years of that happening, for then it not to, it is odd, very odd. I was expecting, all that time wasted, 13 months, and I've gained a stone, I haven't got any further forward. I was expecting all this, and then to call myself like a failure and feel guilty, and I feel shamed, but it didn't come, which I'm really pleased about. Don't get us wrong, I am really pleased about it, but I still find it strange. And the company that weighed us had agreed to come back, so he came back twice more, and I've lost 8.5 pound of the stone that I've gained, so I'm now down a total loss of 18 stone 1.5 pound. I get weighed again in October, which will be 3 years since my heaviest weight, so I'm hoping to have more weight loss. I don't give myself, I give myself mini goals, but I don't give myself I don't look at the bigger picture anymore, because it's pointless. I always felt that, if I lost 10 stone it wouldn't make any difference, and yet actually it did make a massive difference in terms of just things I could do physically. But I totally lost track while I was saying that. But I think it's just working out what works for you, really. I know there's just loads of confusion in diets, There's loads of diet plans. I hate the word diet, actually. It's like something I always feel like I should get on and then get off. You know what I mean? It's that sort of thing that you start on a Monday, isn't it? Everybody starts a diet on a Monday, and by the Friday, it's like it's the weekend. You've got to have that off. But like I said, I have me calories. I stay under them. Apart from on occasion, I have within me calories the stuff that I like. So, for instance, no, I had a like when it was the run up to Easter, I really wanted a cream egg, and I had a cream egg, and I just included in my calories, and it just meant that maybe I had chicken salad for my dinner, and then I had the cream egg, so I could have that, and I kind of view it as a sort of 75-25% or 75-80% good and healthier or more nutritional food, so veg and fruit and whole grains and whole wheat and that kind of thing, and then sort of 20-25% of the other stuff, you know, which sometimes includes chocolate, sometimes includes crisps or nuts, or I mean nuts are good for you and they've got good fats in them, but so it's just balancing it really, isn't it? And working out what works for you. And I mean educating as well, because, and I know there's loads of confusion out there, but I did look into it a lot. I looked into how your metabolism worked. I looked into what things did in your body, and there was a lot of things I didn't know. For instance, when you lose weight, where the fat goes when you lose weight, and I kind of just assumed, oh well, you know, because you always see how you burn the fat, don't you? So I just thought, well, you burnt it, so it kind of sweated it away, really. But actually, the majority of it you breathe out. So 85% of it comes out through your breath, which sounds really strange. And I know everyone's trying to hyperventilate right now, but don't. It doesn't work. I've tried, honest. But it is. It's so strange, because I don't know the full ins and outs, but I've forgotten his name. There's a gentleman on. He did a TED video, and on there he explained, and he showed you via a balloon. So if you breathed into the balloon, he then froze the balloon, and inside the balloon, the carbon turned to like a white powder, and that's basically, you know, yeah, fat loss, I guess. But it's just amazing. It's amazing how much you realise and you don't know, and everyone's different, and what works for one person might not work for another. Some people need a very controlled thing. Some people need the support of a group. I always I think the reason calorie counting also works for me is that there is no restriction, and the one of the main points of dieting is your calories in versus calories out. So the way to lose weight is to make sure your calories in is lower than your calories out that you're burning. So and your body burns the majority of calories just to keep you alive, and that's without exercise. Whilst it's great to exercise because it's good for not just your body but for your mind, and I wish I could do something, unfortunately I can't, but you know, I always think do what you love. Don't force yourself to the gym on a treadmill or something. If you really hate it, go, and you love swimming, go swimming. If you love dancing, go dancing, because at any form, even doing the housework, it burns calories. It doesn't matter. I mean, I was going to say that, but who likes doing the housework? But actually there is people out there who do love that, don't they? I mean, to be honest, I'd probably like it once because it's been a long time, but I might get like over it quickly. I'd be like, oh, I'd love to hoover, basically because I can't right now, but once I've done it once, I'll be like, yeah, that wasn't great fun. So I think I've probably waffled all over this again. I'm trying to sort of stay with it. And I did give myself some notes, but and I think I pretty much covered all of them, even if they weren't in order. but yeah, it's just one step at a time. One day, well, not one step because it would be one roll at a time for me. It's 1 pound at a time is the way I look at it, and I do, like I said, do mini goals. So because I've lost 18 stone, £1.50, I want to get to that 20 stone mark. It's like the magic 20 stone, and then loss, and then progress from there. Get every the next dress size down is another goal. The next stone bracket down is another goal, and so on and so forth. So I don't look at the bigger picture anymore because I just think it just makes it all seem so far away. But yet I kind of find that it's only when you look back that you actually see truly how far you've come, and it definitely has for me. I mean, the last sort of 2.5 years, my life has completely changed. The way I think is completely changed. I know how I look has changed a lot. More so how I view myself is what has changed the most, and that, if I never lost any weight, just that alone would be worth it. You know what I mean? You just can't begin to know how much, like, I just can't be, I mean, I still struggle to understand how I can feel in this way because I just always assumed it was me. So it's amazing. And I'm getting back outside now. I'm doing things again. It's just one step at a time. I've done it again. I can say one step at a time even if I don't step, can't I? Because you don't have to count that as actual walking steps. You could just count that as like a step in a certain direction via a wheelchair being rolled. God, I'm just waffling now. But yeah, I think I'm going to end this here because I'm just waffling crap, and I tend to do that anyway. But anyway, if anyone has any questions, I have got a few, and I will do like a question and answer thing or whatever. Then please comment below and tell me, even maybe you're doing something. Tell me what you're doing, and how your, I was going to say weight loss journey, but I hate that. I hate sort of making it like that. Healthy lifestyle change is going. Yeah, we'll go that way. Thank you again to everyone for the last video, and bye for now.